Hello guys, in this video I wanted to talk about a topic that's been on my mind for a very long time. For those of you who have been following my channel for a while, well, first of all, I'm very grateful, but second of all, you might be asking yourself, why? Why am I putting in so much effort into this YouTube channel? Why am I working on all of these other side projects? Why am I bending over backwards to implement a window manager for the Mac? Well, in this video I wanted to sort of answer that question, because I've been asking myself as well. So yesterday I was looking through my YouTube dashboard analytics, and there is this research tab, and it shows like the most commonly searched terms. And one of them is like this: high income skills. And that's the first thing I want to talk about. I don't really believe there is such thing as high income skills. Just having a skill is not really gonna guarantee that you're gonna have a high income. It all boils down to supply and demand. For instance, let's say that you are an expert in Java or whatever, but you just happen to be in a place where there's a lot of Java developers as well. Well, guess what? You're not gonna have a very high salary. Conversely, you might have just a mediocre level of skill in something that not a lot of people know, and you will be paid much higher. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway is that leverage is what drives your compensation, not your skills. And I think it's very valuable to, at any moment in time, ask yourself, with what I'm doing today, am I building any leverage at all? And so if you're just focusing on your job, in the early days of your career, you might be building leverage in the sense that you are learning. The knowledge you absorb becomes yours and is leveraged for the future. However, as time goes by, you realize that in a company, pretty much the only way people build leverage is through connections and some form of politics. And it's much more common than you think. For instance, many times I've heard a story where just because someone was more extroverted or communicative or was able to make better connections, they were promoted and they had much higher compensations in general. But on the flip side, if you start your own side hustle, it doesn't have to be all consuming. Just a side hustle, just something that you're doing for yourself only. You're starting to build leverage in an area that nobody else has control of. But why is it so important? Let's consider that as a developer, let's just hypothetically say you make $1,000 a month. And that salary comes from one place, your job. I would like to make the argument that as a developer, if you had 10 apps, or maybe you're working on a YouTube channel like I am, and in aggregate across all of those you make $1,000, the quality of those $1,000 is much higher than $1,000 that comes from only one source. And the reason is it's diversified. And so to answer the question why I am working on all of these things even though I don't have to, is that I want to let the market decide on what my compensation is going to be. And I don't want to depend on a single person to decide on a global company-wide policy what the compensation is going to be for my kind of role. And so if I learn or pick up a new skill or improve in some way this month, if the market is deciding my compensation, then I'm going to get the benefits of this improvement this month. But in a company, you never know. Maybe the person who is in charge of like compensation doesn't really like you. Like, it happens more often than not. And so the reason I'm doing YouTube is that side projects are still very few. Like, I cannot build 1,000 different little apps. But the YouTube audience is the definition of diversification. Each and every single person is deciding whether or not the video that I made is of any value to them. And so as a software engineer, because you have this incredible skill to create value out of nothing, it's important to try and diversify your income, no matter if it's by building an audience or building a product, you're still building leverage with things that you can control. And finally, as more of a philosophical discussion, like if you spend your entire life working for a company, what was your purpose in life? Yes, companies will try to sell you on some company-wide values, and they will try to sell you on some grand vision of changing the world, but in reality, if you look at the profits of companies in the last couple of decades compared to compensation growth, it is not even close. The profits have grown so much more than the compensation. So even if you don't really make any money out of your side hustle, at least you provided value to people that you care about. For example, if only a few people use my app, it still makes me happy. because I know that I've done something useful for others. And at the end of the day, it's important to feel connected with other people, connected to the world. So yeah, this is just a video that I wanted to make because many people ask me why I keep doing this, especially very close friends. They're like, Marco, you don't really have to, but I'm really curious to know what your opinion is on this topic. So let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.